SLT speed up සවාරිය සමගින් සද්දන්ත වාසි රැල්ලක්. අලුත් බ්‍රෝඩ්බෑන්ඩ් සබඳතා සඳහා පළමු මාස දෙක පුරා data double speed up with SLT.
Making headlines on First at 9. Shielding domestic industry. President Maithripala Sirisena says no to importation of anything that can be produced within Sri Lanka. Restructuring economy. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says Sri Lanka should look to manufacturing-led development.
What we are doing is a restructuring of our economy, back to the tradable goods.
Misuse of state funds. Permanent High Court at Bar grants bail to former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa but slaps foreign travel ban. Cracking down fraud. Sri Lanka Cricket says an attempt to transfer $5.5 million to an offshore account was thwarted. Deadly gun battle. Armed group storms Libya's National Oil Corporation building. A very good evening to all our viewers. You're joined with us here on First at 9 on Derana 24/7, Sri Lanka's news channel. I'm Katharina Chang. Now moving on to your top story tonight. President Maithripala Sirisena emphasises that domestic industry should be protected instead of funding importation of agri-products that could be easily produced in Sri Lanka. The President made the remark at an event held in Hambantota today.
The awareness program for island-wide paddy farmers on recultivation of neglected paddy fields was commenced in Hambantota today under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena.
Oranges, corn, chilies, cashews and so many other products are imported to Sri Lanka at a huge cost. Now, who gives permission to import all of these? Don't import any of these products for the benefit of smugglers and corrupt politicians. I have always been against the importation of corn. We must stop the importation of all produces which we can cultivate locally. Then we come to the issue of Ging Nilwala diversion project. Paddy farmers have already complained about this to me. We all know what happened to the diversion project during the previous government. Investigations are also being conducted into the matter. I think this government will also have to launch another investigation regarding the delay on implementing the project. So I ask anybody who is responsible in this regard to protect your political principles. The cabinet paper on the project is also delayed by 3 months, and I know what the reason is. I publicly informed them to expedite every process with regards to the Ging Nilwala diversion project without making me reveal the rest of their stories to the country.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe left for Vietnam to attend the World Economic Forum on the Association of Southeast Nations. Now, the Premier left Sri Lanka this morning. The World Economic Forum on the Association of Southeast Asian Nations will begin tomorrow in Hanoi and go on until Thursday. Over 1,000 delegates from 43 countries and regions will engage in discussions on 5 key topics. Key contents include defining a new vision for the ASEAN on regional integration, seeking new economic models and governance in the digital era, finding new business models and driving forces for ASEAN countries. Among delegates are Prime Ministers of Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia, Singapore and Vietnam, as well as Presidents of Indonesia and the Philippines, and Myanmar State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi. Now, the forum will be attended by business leaders from ASEAN members, leaders of international organizations, and senior officials and entrepreneurs from non-ASEAN countries such as China, Japan, South Korea, and India. 7 defendants, including former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa, appeared before the Permanent High Court at Bar today over the alleged misappropriation of state funds to establish the D.A. Rajapaksa Museum in Madamulana. When the case was taken up today, the court ordered the release of all 7 defendants on a cash bail of 100,000 rupees each. They were also slapped with a travel ban and were ordered to surrender their passports to court.
The Attorney General filed a case against 7 individuals, including former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa, at the Permanent High Court at Bar over the alleged misappropriation of rupees 33.9 million rupees to build the D.A. Rajapaksa Memorial Museum in 2014. Accordingly, former Defence Secretary arrived at 9 a.m. today to appear before the Permanent High Court at Bar. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa arrived at the court while many other parliamentarians representing the joint opposition also arrived. No lawyer representing the Attorney General's department were present when the case was called today. Accordingly, representing Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Attorney at Law Ramesh De Silva requested the release of the defendants. Permanent High Court at Bar Judge Sampath Abekon explained that the defendants cannot be released due to the absence of lawyers appearing on behalf of the government, given the fact that the case being a criminal offence. 10 minutes into the case, however, a group of lawyers, including the Deputy Solicitor General Dilip Apiris, appeared before the court on behalf of the government. Attorney at Law Ramesh De Silva, appearing on behalf of the former Defence Secretary, appealed to the court to release his client upon a condition that he be present at any time in terms of Section 7 of the Bail Act. Deputy Solicitor General Dilip Apiris informed the court that the Attorney General has no objection over the defendants being released upon severe bail conditions. Special High Court Judge Sampath Abekon said that the court will issue a bail to the defendants on the basis that they will appear the first time when the court summons. Accordingly, the court decided to release the defendants on a cash bail of 100,000 rupees each, with 2 surety bails of 1 million rupees each. The court also slapped all 7 defendants with a travel ban and ordered their passport be submitted to the court. The court also ordered to produce a report on the fingerprints of the defendants. The case will be taken up again on the 9th of October.
Sri Lanka Land Reclamation and Development Corporation has the legal right to undertake private construction work. After the construction is completed, the due money has been paid to the institution. A case has been filed at the Permanent High Court at Bar on an amount that has already been paid. No, in fact, a court has been established. We have to think about it. The cases that are filed will not see their conclusion by that time.
The joint opposition today presented video evidence to media in support of the accusation that the vehicle deployed in the distribution of allegedly poisoned packets of milk during the Janabalya mass protest belonged to the Ministry of Finance. During a media briefing in Colombo today, the JO reiterated that it was schemed by the UMP to sabotage the September 5th rally.
38 protesters who participated in joint opposition's September 5th protest rally fell ill after consuming milk packets distributed by unidentified groups at several occasions in Colombo. It is alleged that the milk packets had been injected with poison. Boxes containing packets of milk were found on Saturday at byway of the Udumulla Road in Battaramulla. Following the rally, UNP MP Mujibur Rahman was accused in Parliament for being connected to the incident, but the parliamentarian refuted the allegation.
We will take legal action in this regard because parliamentarians Vimal Veeravansa and Shehan Semasinghe insulted me over this matter outside Parliament. They've defamed me. They've only filed one complaint and it says nothing about a vehicle or a certain individual. They can mention all of this to the police and not to anyone else.
Meanwhile, outside the special courts today, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa spoke about the allegedly poisoned milk packets.
The CID must launch an investigation into the matter. Many people, including parliamentarian Dala Salahaperuma, are still sick. These packets of milk have been distributed by a vehicle belonging to the Ministry of Finance. All these are now revealed.
Meanwhile, the joint opposition convened a media briefing today to express views on the matter.
One of the band which distributed these packets of milk belonged to the You can see that there's milk spilled all over. The vehicle with the registration number ND3094 has been used for this and it belongs to the During the alleged period of time, 2 drivers had driven the vehicle. During the period in question, it had been driven under the instructions of the acting director.
Meanwhile, the vehicle in question, bearing registration number ND3094, was seen parked at in Colombo. Following the allegations, several MPs representing the UNP filed a complaint at the Mirihana police station requesting a comprehensive investigation. A group of joint opposition members too filed a complaint regarding the incident at the Fort police station.
Chief of Defence Staff Admiral Ravindra Wijegunaratne had been summoned to the Criminal Investigation Department to record a statement regarding the alleged abduction, illegal detention and murder of 11 youths in 2008 and 2009. However, Admiral Ravindra Wijegunaratne did not report at the Criminal Investigations Department and instead he had asked for another day to record his statement. He had also mentioned that he was leaving for Mexico for an official duty. Admiral Ravindra Wijegunaratne was ordered in writing to appear before the CID today, alleging that there was clear evidence of Admiral Ravindra Wijegunaratne providing assistance to the main suspect of the case, Navy Sampath, to abscond the court. The main suspect of the case, Chandan Hettiarachchi, also known as Navy Sampath, is currently remanded. And with that, with more local news, we'll join you right after this short commercial break.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Derana 24/7.
General Secretary of the United National Freedom Front Attorney at Law Maitri Gunaratne today criticised the government, saying it failed to deliver on its objectives. He made this remark at a function held in Matra last evening.
රාජපක්ෂලව පරාජය කරලා මේ ආණ්ඩුව ගෙන්න අපි සටන් කරා. ඒ ගේනකොට අපි හිතුවේ නෑ කවදාවත් රාජපක්ෂලට වඩා පට්ට හොරු ටිකක් විතරයි කියලා. බලනකොට රාජපක්ෂල හොඳයි. වැඩක් කරලා කීයක් හරි සාක්කු වෙලා ගත්තා. මේ හාදේ වැඩ කරන්නේ නැතුව සාක්කු වෙලා ගන්න. ඒකයි වෙන රාජපක්ෂල හොරකම් කරා කියලා කියනවා. හැබැයි අවුරුදු 3මාරක් දැන් හොරු අල්ලනවා. මේක තමයි යාපාලනේ தත්ත්වය. මේ ආණ්ඩුවට වැඩ කරන්න බෑ. මේ ආණ්ඩුවට හොරු අල්ලන්න බෑ. ජනාධිපතිතුමා එකක් කියනවා, අගමැතිතුමා තවත් එකක් කියනවා. මැදියමදිවරු සල්ලි ගත්තේ නැද්ද? 118ක් සල්ලි ගත්තයි කියන. අද වෙනකන් 4-5 දෙනෙක් ගෙනන් විතරයි කියවිලා තියෙන්නේ. මොකද්ද මේකේ තේරුම? නමුත් දැන් ඒ නඩු ටික ඔක්කොම හැමින් යමින් තමයි ගෙනියන්නේ. මේක එන්නේ නැහැ මොකද එන අවුරුද්දේ ඡන්දේ. ඒ මදිවට ඉන්න විපක්ෂ නායකවරයෙක් සම්බන්ධන් මහත්මයා TNA එක. මොන රටේද මිත්‍රවරුනි විපක්ෂ නායකයා ගිහිල්ලා අගමැතිව බේරන්නේ? විපක්ෂයකුත් නැහැ. හොර ආණ්ඩුවක් මේකේ තියෙන්නේ. කොහොමද අපි ඉස්සරහට යන්නේ?
Colombo Municipal Councillor Dr. Ranil Jayasena says that the proposal has been submitted to the Colombo Municipal Council to use rainwater as an alternative for day-to-day usage except for drinking purposes. Urging people to conserve rainwater, Dr. Ranil Jayasena said that the move comes as a result of the severe droughts that prevailed in 11 districts of the country.
It is learned nowadays there is a problem with water because of this severe drought involving 11 districts. And now we have observed during our inspection to us that there is a lot of wastage and no conservation of water. Therefore, we have submitted a proposal to the council to conserve rainwater and use that rainwater for day-to-day activities, avoiding drinking water. Because drinking water is expensive, because it has to be processed, filtered and chlorinized. Therefore, we have to preserve that water and conserve and use rainwater. Till we implement this proposal in near future, we expect our people to resort to techniques where we can conserve this drinking water.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says that the essence of the government's economic restructuring is transforming the country's economy from a non-tradable to tradable goods. The Prime Minister added that the country's economy was earlier driven by policies that promoted non-tradable sectors such as infrastructure development, resulting in tradable goods such as exports declining, adding further pressure to the country's economy. He expressed these views at an event held in Colombo last evening. Award for the most admired companies in Sri Lanka was held under the auspices of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe last night. The event was organised by the International Chamber of Commerce Sri Lanka and the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants.
What we are doing is a restructuring of our economy back to the tradable goods. The merchandise exports of Sri Lanka as a percentage of the GDP has declined from 33 and 1/3% in 2000 to 13% in 2017. How did this happen? When from 2010 to 2012, we had a growth rate of over 8%. But there were growth rates in the non-tradable sectors, mainly construction activities with the emphasis on public infrastructure. Since then, the growth has been more subdued. So this all indicates that the investment activities that took place in the preceding periods were not targeted to sectors that had the potential to sustain high economic growth. The widening trade and current account deficits and the increased reliance on foreign borrowings were inevitable consequences of growth which was dependent on domestic demand. Although foreign borrowings have increased significantly in the past 10 years, such borrowings have not been invested in promoting or supporting the tradable sector of the economy. As the tradable sector has not expanded, this continues to contribute to higher debt service pressures. However, the expansion of the non-tradable sector has not yielded the envisaged growth level.
Alpha Line, a monthly report indicated that among 30 container ports, the port of Colombo was ranked number 1 under the container growth category for the first half of 2018. Port of Colombo has recorded a 15.6% growth in container handling for the first half of 2018 over same period last year. Issuing a communique today, the Sri Lanka Ports Authority noted that it is a significant achievement for Sri Lanka as it is the first time in history the Port of Colombo clinched the top spot of a global maritime ranking. With this growth, Port of Colombo surpassed top ports with Singapore ranking number 2 and Guangzhou coming in 3rd position. Recently, the 3 terminal operators at the Port of Colombo, the Jaya Container Terminal under SLPA, the South Asia Gateway Terminal and the Colombo International Container Terminal reached into a memorandum of understanding to operate collectively to promote the Port of Colombo. Under the new collective agreement, it is expected to minimize the total turnaround time of all container vessels. Further, through the new agreement, terminals will also be able to promote the Port of Colombo collectively and collaboratively in the arena of international maritime business. Sri Lankan shares fell to a week's closing low today as foreign investors sold blue chips. The all share price index ended 0.35% weaker at 6,096.54, its lowest close since 3rd September. It rose 0.6% last week in its 3rd straight weekly gain. We have Nisansala Kurupamudali for more details.
The all-share price index had a volatile movement throughout the day, reaching an intraday high of 6,116 and a low of 6,091 and closing at 6,101, losing 17 points. However, turnover improved compared to the previous trading day, mainly led by crossings, which accounted for 52% of the turnover. A net foreign outflow was witnessed, reversing the inflow witnessed last trading day amidst high foreign participation.
The rupee closed weaker against the US dollar today despite the central bank last week slashing commercial bank overnight limits for the greenback to contain currency pressure. The rupee closed at 162 rupees and 35 cents to 50 cents rupee against the greenback, weakening from Friday's closing of 160 rupees to 20 cents on the imported demand. Let's now take a look at the foreign exchange of the day today. Marking World Suicide Prevention Day today, the Courage, Compassion, Commitment Foundation concluded its 5th annual bikeathon this evening. Over 20 cyclists came together to spread awareness of the foundation's toll-free telephone counselling service, CCC Line 1333. The service was established with the aim of encouraging people to talk about their problems, whether they be personal, relationship or family issues, schoolwork worries, mental illness or suicidal thoughts.
On the 29th of August, the Courage, Compassion and Commitment Foundation, which kicked off its 5th annual bikeathon from Independence Square, Colombo, concluded its campaign today in line with World Suicide Prevention Day. Over 20 cyclists from across the world travelled 1,333 kilometres and made stopovers in 13 main cities in the island. The awareness campaign is an effort to raise funds to sustain and expand its operations and assist efforts in suicide prevention. The ultimate aim of CCC Line 1333 is to prevent suicide in Sri Lanka through education of mental health, engagement and empowerment.
Today on World Suicide Prevention Day 2018, we arrive at Independence Square in Colombo, Sri Lanka after riding 1,333 kilometers to promote 1333, a toll-free and confidential telephone counseling service for all people of Sri Lanka. So if you're out there thinking about suicide, or if you have a problem, please call us. Call us on 1333 and a telephone counselor will be here ready to hear your issues, problems and help you. So don't forget 1333.
The line is that it's anonymous, it's a first point of contact, it's open, it's with trained counselors who will listen. And I think that's something that we rarely are taught to do or are keen to do, because giving and giving well is a start to changing someone else's life. And I always think that we're here for a purpose, and once you've ticked all the boxes in terms of achievement, there's always the question, the nagging question that you have in your mind: have I really made a difference? And sometimes that difference really counts when it's in someone else's life.
Brand ambassador of CCC Foundation, former Sri Lankan cricket captain Kumar Sangakkara, together with the participants, concluded the event by signing a declaration, "No to Suicide and Yes to Life."
An armed group stormed the headquarters of the National Oil Corporation in Libya's capital Tripoli today. Security forces clashed with the armed men at the landmark building in the centre of the city, and witnesses said they heard several blasts and gunfire from the premises. It is not yet clear who carried out the attack. Last week, the United Nations announced a truce between warring militias. A UN-backed government is nominally in power in Tripoli, but militias occupy most other parts of the country. Libya's oil sector, which is central to the economy, has been repeatedly disrupted by violence since longtime ruler Muammar Gaddafi was ousted in 2011. The head of US media giant CBS, Leslie Moons, have resigned with immediate effect after allegations of sexual misconduct. CBS had been investigating Moonves since the allegations appeared in The New Yorker in July. However, the situation became more pressing when The New Yorker published fresh accusations from 6 more women yesterday.
For over 20 years, Leslie Moonves has been one of the most powerful media executives in USA, and as the chairman and CEO of CBS Corporation, he oversaw shows ranging from 60 Minutes to The Big Bang Theory. Last year, he earned nearly $70 million, making him one of the highest paid corporate executives in the world. Moonves also became a prominent voice in Hollywood's Me Too movement. However, the former head of CBS came under much scrutiny in July following an article in The New Yorker which described allegations by 6 women who claimed their careers had suffered because they rejected sexual advances by Moonves. The second article by The New Yorker yesterday, detailing allegations of sexual harassment or assault towards 6 other women between the 1980s and in recent years, however, had drawn the line with CBS. While the 68-year-old denied the allegations, CBS announced in a statement that Moonves would step down as chairman, president and CEO with immediate effect. US media said the resignation package for Moonves could amount to $100 million. However, CBS said he would not receive any severance benefits until the result of an independent investigation into his conduct.
The Swedish general election has left the two main political blocs almost tied, with the anti-immigration party making gains on its previous results. With nearly all ballots counted, the governing centre-left coalition is marginally ahead of its centre-right alliance rivals with around 40% each. The Nationalist Sweden Democrats have won about 18% of the vote, up from 12.9% in the previous election. A protracted battle to form a working coalition now looks certain. Both of the main blocs have refused to govern with the Nationalist Sweden Democrats, although its leader said he was prepared to talk with all other parties.
Tack så hemskt mycket. Svenska folket har alltså nu valt en ny riksdag. Alliansen är klart.
We have sports news on the other side. Let's now cross over to a short commercial break.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Sri Lanka Cricket has thwarted an attempt by one of its employees to embezzle $5.5 million to an offshore bank account. The board confirmed in a statement that the money was due to the board from Sony Pictures Networks in relation to the broadcasting rights for England's upcoming tour of Sri Lanka. The SLC media release said immediately upon finding of the attempted fraud, SLC CEO Ashley De Silva lodged a complaint to the Financial Crimes Investigation Division. In the meantime, SLC will also be conducting an internal audit into all financial transactions over the past year. England scheduled to visit Sri Lanka for a full-fledged tour comprising 5 ODIs, 1 T20s and 3 tests to be played on October 10th in Dambulla, and the tour will conclude with the final test in Colombo on November 23rd. A clinical Novak Djokovic dismissed Juan Martín del Potro to collect his third US Open title yesterday, giving him 14 Grand Slams to move into a tie for third on the all-time list alongside Pete Sampras. The victory puts Djokovic 3 Grand Slam wins away from Nadal's 17 and 6 behind Federer's record 20.
A season that started gloomily with an elbow surgery after the Australian Open is turning into a brilliant finish for Novak Djokovic, who has now won 3 of his last 4 events, including back-to-back majors at Wimbledon and Flushing Meadows. Djokovic overcame 3 sets to beat Juan Martín del Potro 6-3, 7-6, 6-3, ending it all with a forehand smash.
I'm so happy to be playing the final against this magnificent idol. Of course, I'm sad because I lose, but I'm happy for Novak.
I try to take the best out of myself in those moments and thrive on this support and love that I get from close ones, and to get myself in this position.
Champion Novak Djokovic.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Sheila Fernando is at the Other Derana Weather Centre with their forecast first evening edition.
A very good evening to our viewers and welcome to Forecast First. Starting off with your temperatures for tomorrow, that will vary between 20 and 34 degrees Celsius with the highest of 34 expected in Batticaloa. Well, when looking at the map, a low pressure zone will develop in the central hills and will gradually disappear. Well, moving on to your rain forecast for tomorrow, most parts of the upper region of the island except for Jaffna will experience showers with thunder activity also expected. In the lower region of the island except for Negombo, Colombo and Galle, Kandy, Matara and Hambantota will experience thunder showers. That's all from the Weather Centre tonight. Up next is your city by city forecast.
Before we go, we'd like to take you to Ohia, located in Badula district. Ohia is a small village in Sri Lanka and is known as one of the most scenic locations in the country. We hope you enjoy these visuals and have a pleasant evening.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.